The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board (JAMB) has extended the deadline for admission into public universities from Friday, 31st October 2025 to Monday, 17th November 2025. And the Bayelsa State Governor, Doye Diri, has officially defected from the People's Democratic Party (PDP) to the All Progressives Congress (APC). Now the details of the news. The National Orientation Agency (NOAA) says there is no Christian genocide in Nigeria and urged the United States to scrutinize its intelligence further to ascertain the authenticity of its source. The Director General of the agency, Londre Issa Onilu, who stated this at the National Joint Security Press Briefing in Abuja, said the United States intelligence has failed in the past and it's presently failing again with the false genocide claims against Nigeria, citing the failed attempts in Iraq, Iran, Pakistan, and Libya, where the U.S. intelligence failed. Malam Issa Onilu maintained that he was surprised to see the U.S. putting Nigeria on the country of personal interest, or rather personal concern, or CPC list, after it applauded Nigeria for killing one of the most wanted terrorists in the world a couple of weeks ago. He explained that the military has done a lot to decimate the insurgents, and the federal government had just changed the military hierarchy to show the world Nigeria's commitment to fighting insurgency and banditry. According to him, the security synergy among the military, DSS, police, and immigration services has improved measurably, producing faster interdictions and fewer casualties. The NOADG added that the Nigerian government was ready to collaborate with any country ready to promote democracy and help Nigeria fight insecurity to enable Nigerians enjoy the good works already started by the present administration. The federal government has appealed to resident doctors to suspend their ongoing strike and return to work, assuring them that concrete steps are being taken to address their welfare concerns, including the release of 21.3 billion naira for payment of arrears and other entitlements. The Minister of State for Health and Social Welfare, Dr. Isiaq Salako, made the appeal during a press briefing in Abuja on the government's response to the ongoing industrial action by the National Association of Resident Doctors, or NAD. Dr. Salako expressed regret over the disruption of healthcare services across the country and said President Bola Tinubu had directed the ministry to ensure a quick and fair resolution of the dispute. He said the federal government has been working to meet doctors' demands and appealed to them to call off the strike in the interest of Nigerians who depend on public hospitals for care. The minister disclosed that NAD had tabled 19 demands and several of them had been addressed through ongoing engagements with relevant ministries and agencies. Dr. Salako said the government had released 21.3 billion naira to clear outstanding arrears, while 11.99 billion naira was being processed. In addition, 10 billion naira has already been paid as part of the Medical Residency Training Fund, with another 10 billion naira earmarked for payment to resident doctors. The Nigeria Police Force has declared its preparedness to conducting free, fair, and credible elections at the Anambra off-cycle election coming up next Saturday, November 8. Mr. Kaido Ebotokun, the Inspector General of Police, made the declaration at the Anambra State Police Headquarters, Amobia, where he urged men of the force to behave themselves professionally as they will be held accountable for their actions before, during, and after the election. Represented by the Deputy Inspector General of Police, Mr. Ben Okolo, Mr. Ebotokun praised them for fighting insecurity in Anambra State to a standstill, advising them not to relent but to continue to represent the force wherever they find themselves. In his welcome address, the Anambra State Commissioner of Police, Mr. Ikoye Orutugu, appreciated the IGP for being part of the signing of peace accord by all the governorship candidates, adding that the state command is fully prepared for the upcoming governorship election. Meanwhile, the political parties and their governorship candidates in this Saturday's election in Anambra State have signed a peace accord. On the occasion in Awka, the chairman, National Peace Committee, General Abdul Salami Abubakar, said that democracy can thrive where human lives are held sacred. Represented by General Martin Luther Agwai, General Abdul Salami Abubakar told the candidates that signing of the peace accord represents their commitments, discipline, and a call for responsibility on their part to ensure the success of the polls. In a message, the INEC chairman, Professor Joash Amupitan, said Anambra State governorship election was his first major assignment and said INEC remains committed to conducting free, fair, and peaceful election. He called on candidates and their supporters to support INEC to deliver credible polls by playing by the rules and urged them to respect the principles and letters of the accord they signed. Professor Amupitan said INEC had fine-tuned its deployment arrangements and that voters should expect a significant improvement of logistics on election day. He emphasized that the Commission, with other security agencies, will resist vote buying by arresting and prosecuting offenders. Professor Amupitan said INEC had approved the final voter register of 2,802,790 and that 16 political parties would participate in the election. You are watching TV Sapientia on Star Times Channel 260. The news continues shortly after this timer. Please don't go away. Welcome back to the rest of the Sapientia News Bulletin at 1 p.m. My name is Joe Imo. The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board (JAMB) has extended the deadline for admission into public universities from Friday, 31st October 2025 to Monday, 17th November 2025. A statement by the spokesman, Fabian Benjamin, explains that the decision was prompted by an appeal by the Association of Vice Chancellors of Nigerian Universities for extension due to the disruption caused by a number of factors, including a court order directing that status quo should remain on 2025-2026 admission list, which was only clearly lifted by the same court on 28 October 2025. While expressing appreciation to all institutions for their tireless efforts and cooperation in meeting the initial target date, JAMB noted that this new deadline is final and must be strictly adhered to. At the 2025 policy meeting on admissions held on 18 July 2025 under the chairmanship of the Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, Friday, 31st October 2025 was fixed as the deadline for all public universities to conclude their admission processes. The Lagos State government has urged the Supreme Court to uphold the conviction of Dr. Olufemi Olaleye, who was found guilty of defiling his wife's 16-year-old niece by the Lagos State Sexual Offences and Domestic Violence Court, but later acquitted by the Court of Appeal. Dr. Olaleye, the medical director of Optimal Cancer Care Foundation, was sentenced to life imprisonment on October 24, 2023, after the trial court found him guilty of defilement. Justice Oshodi had in his judgment held that the confessional statement of Olaleye, which he made before his former counsel, Mr. Olalekan Buruji, and the DPO of Anthony Police Station, when he stated that he regretted his action, proved that he committed the offences. However, the Court of Appeal in Lagos on November 28, 2024 overturned the conviction, citing inconsistencies in the prosecution's evidence. But dissatisfied with the appellate court's decision, the Lagos State government filed an appeal before the Supreme Court seeking to set aside the acquittal and restore the trial court's verdict. The Supreme Court is expected to determine whether the appellate court was right in overturning the conviction and whether Dr. Olalaye's acquittal will stand. The chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC), Professor Joash Amupitan San, has charged the commission's staff in Anambra State to ensure flawless logistics and the prompt commencement of voting in the November 8 governorship election. Amupitan gave the directive during a meeting with INEC staff at the Commission's state office in Awka as part of his working visit ahead of the polls. According to a statement issued via the Commission's X handle, the visit, which followed a series of readiness assessments across the state, also coincided with the signing of a peace accord by political parties earlier in the day. The INEC chairman said the credibility of the election depends largely on the commencement and professionalism of the Commission's field officers. Amupitan said voting must begin at exactly 8:30 a.m. in all the 5,718 polling units across the 21 local government areas, adding that the first sign of credible election is that it starts on time. The Bayelsa State Governor Doye Juri has officially defected from the People's Democratic Party (PDP) to the All Progressives Congress (APC). Vice President Kashim Shettima led top APC figures to Yenagoa for the governor's official welcome ceremony. Senate President Godswill Akpabio, Ogun State Governor Dapo Abiodun, Ondo State Governor Lucky Ayedetiwa, Delta State Governor Sheriff Oboroweri, Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma, and Akwa Ibom State Governor Umo Eno also attended. Juri's defection comes amid a wave of movements by prominent politicians from the PDP to the APC ahead of the 2027 elections. This year alone, the PDP has lost at least 4 sitting governors, including Sheriff Oboroweri of Delta State, Umo Eno of Akwa Ibom State, Doye Diri of Bayelsa State, and Peter Mba of Enugu State. Announcing his decision at the Executive Council chamber of the Bayelsa State Government House, Diri said his resignation followed extensive consultations. He also announced that all local government chairmen in the state would move with him to his new party. His decision received the backing of 23 members of the Bayelsa State House of Assembly, led by the Speaker, Abraham Ngobere. To end the Sapientia TV news at 1 p.m., a recap of the major headlines. The National Orientation Agency, NOAA, says there is no Christian genocide in Nigeria, while urging the U.S. to scrutinize its intelligence further to ascertain the authenticity of its source. The political parties and their governorship candidates in this Saturday's election in Anambra State have signed a peace accord. The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, has extended the deadline for admission into public universities from Friday, 31st October 2025 to Monday, 17th November 2025. And finally, the Bayelsa State Governor Doye Diri has officially defected from the People's Democratic Party (PDP) to the All Progressives Congress (APC). That was the Sapientia TV news at 1 p.m. On behalf of the editorial and technical crew, I am Joe Igbo. Good afternoon and thanks for choosing TV Sapientia.